Hello.
Oh, is the helmet, medically prescribed?
Yes. Skull fracture. I got hit in the front and back of the head.
Dip from the ocean dumping?
Part of the ocean dumping. It's the injuries we presented with at the hospital was blunt force trauma. Kiki had the addition of symptoms of hypoxia.
Um, Plain English?
Uh, Oxygen deprivation.
The ocean dumping, yeah.
She also had a really, really bad episode when we were at the Liquid Library after. So much so that she went to bed after.
Yeah, I woke up and she was cold at the end of my bed.
Yeah. I think she was looking for Cleo. How much did she tell you about what happened while you were gone?
Quite a lot.
Did she tell you about the spat that ADMC and the Raiders had?
Mm-hmm. Conversation she had with Sean that led to her to have a mental breakdown.
Yeah, I don't understand what he gained from telling her, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't know what was gained other than causing distress by telling her that it wasn't Faye that shot me.
Oh, everybody's smoking, yeah. I imagine makes him look a bit more of the good guy. Me and Faye talk a lot, so obviously it would come up in conversation. In which case, I guess he figured that she'd find out eventually.
And just one of those things. And then it put us both in an awkward position. Because, like, obviously she was going to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not that great at hiding my emotions in the moment, so not when it comes to, her being friends with him. It'd be one thing if this wasn't, the third time at least that he was involved in something involving someone she cares about. I'm gonna be real. Like, it seems like he's only her friend when it's convenient for him. Then again, it seems like a lot of the ADMC folks, they only have people in their lives when it's convenient for them.
Speaking to Alice recently.
Yeah, Alice, Lottie. It's a goddamn pattern at this point, Winston. She swears up and down that she's not going to let herself, end up with another Jeffy. But that's all I can see happening here. Like, take out of the equation that he shot me. At that point in time, yeah, they know I'm dating Mason, but I wasn't in a cut. I wasn't an old lady. I was just there feeling trapped because on one side of me I had Benji, on the other side of me I had Faye, and I didn't know if there was more people in front of the 24/7.
don't know the rules around old ladies in Raiders. BBMC, we didn't have old ladies. If you were willing enough to be a part of the club, you just become a full member. Instead of the whole property of kind of thing. I know different clubs do it differently. Lost have it differently. They're not property. They are members, but they're not fully in.
It's more like the Lost, honestly.
But one thing I think will remain true of all of them. Club is first, no matter what. I assume you had some sort of hesitancy telling me about the jacket.
Mm, I don't really have hesitancy so much as it was like in the lead up, making sure people didn't know like this was a potentiality, you know, because until the point that it happened, you know, it was a club thing, right?
Of course.
And it's like, I know what I signed up for. Kiki didn't sign up for this, right? She didn't sign up to be put in the middle of a conflict that has nothing to do with her. A conflict that is, I mean, it's over, but I think the bad feelings still remain, you know. But at the same time, she's my sister and she's friends with a lot of people in a lot of different groups, and sooner or later those groups come into conflict.
Club first means club first, no matter what. I don't mean this with desire or anything, but I am surprised Faye didn't shoot you.
She hopped over, said, "Hands up." No, she said, "Boo, put your hands up." From my understanding, someone down on the pier said, "I don't care who she is, just shoot her." Further information from Kiki. 1, Sean shot me. 2, he knew exactly who he's shooting. And like, I don't, like, I care that I got shot, but I don't care, if that makes sense. Like, I care in the sense that, yeah, that could have killed me. I got shot in the fucking neck. But it's also part of the life that I'm choosing. You know? But at that point in time, I guess what bothers me is he saw me standing there, not in a cut, not part of anything. I think I'd be feeling different if I was standing there in my cut, clearly part of the Raiders, you know? Because not even 30 minutes beforehand, Kiki had been with me in Chumash. So would he have shot Kiki if she was standing behind that 24/7 with me?
She swears that he wouldn't. I don't believe it.
If he thought for a second that she was there, either with me or with the club, he would have shot her.
Do you know what they asked me when I joined the BBMC?
What?
Who is the person that you care the most about in this world? And I said Kiki Pendragon. She's like a sister to me. And he said if I was to be prospected in, this wasn't even blooded in, I was never blooded into the BBMC. If I was to be prospected in, I would have to swear down that if at any point Kiki came at odds with the club, I would execute her. With no hesitation. And I lied and said I'd do it because I knew that she would never come at odds with the club.
I had a very similar question posed to me. But the thing is, we all know Kiki wouldn't do anything that would ever make the Raiders want to go after her. She would have to literally murder somebody in the club for them to do that, I think. Because the thing about the Raiders is they put a very high value on the people that you care about. Because their whole thing is if your loved ones are hurt, then you're hurting, and that in turn, it's not good for anybody. Which I think is contrary to how a lot of groups operate in the city, if I'm being honest.
Ash told me that, quite the opposite, in fact. Just the clubs that are like that. Most other groups, they won't go after someone without at least asking the person that it would affect the most. Hydra wanted me dead. They'd speak to Ash first. Give her the details, and she would have to give the go-ahead.
And that also brings up the fact of the matter that Kiki said that months ago she asked Sean, granted, I think it was in a different situation entirely, not to hurt me. I could have done a better job of hiding my upset when I spoke to her. I never want her to feel like she has to choose, it gives me a gross feeling. Because my life choices should not have an effect on her and her life.
I worded it a different way to her. Said that she, I try and have a slight distinct advantage in that I go for a friend with, a friend with all, but that means a friend to none. But if I'm doing business with them, it means I can kind of maintain that friendship. She doesn't have that business with them. She has to accept the consequences of what those friendships will bring. Will ultimately have to choose herself. If she wants to be a friend with all, she has to accept that she will lose friends. By her choice or theirs.
I think there were a fair few people who were surprised she still hung out with ADMC after you were blooded out. Because to them, it just didn't make any sense. that she would still hang out with.
My murderers?
Yeah.
She said it's because I asked for it.
Yeah. At the time, I just told her to do what she thought was best. And I think I see things very differently now. So at the end of the day, though she's not close with Charlotte by any means, Sean was still part of that. Sean was still part of your blooding out, as it's a club thing. And Sean willingly chose to shoot me, knowing full well that that bullet could have killed me. And it's a very fine line to walk between not wanting her to be in the middle, but feeling hurt that she's still choosing to be friends with him. For a lot of reasons. It's not just the shooting thing, it's a lot of things. Especially when
Me and her have often spoken about the Manny and Dahlia relationship and why Dahlia persists despite the fact that he's forcing her into an early grave with consistent and continuous episodic fits. Seizures caused by the stress that he brings her. And yet, Kiki has no idea how much time she missed the other day. A week ago now.
and I feel like part of that is my fault.
No, it's a conversation with Sean.
I don't want to see her go through another Jeffy. And when someone keeps telling you, "Oh, I'll call you later," "Oh, I'm so busy," and then she said that he was racing. Yeah, you're so busy. The majority of that club is the embodiment of if they wanted to, they would, and they don't want to until they need to. Well, I'd say Finn is one of the very few in that club who has an idea of what it's like to have a balance. Apparently, the day he reached out to her was the day that she decided that she wasn't going to try anymore. Just like, of course, he has to give her that crumb of hope that things are going to change.
Like Tessa all over again.
asked her, "Does this friendship make you happy?" And she said that it does, and I'm just like, part of me wanted to ask her more, like, why? Because it's not like they see each other often. Hell, it's not like they talk that often, from what I can gather. It just comes back to sooner rather than later, she's going to end up in the middle again, and we're going to be right back to where we were this week.
Yeah, carving I told you so into a gravestone isn't exactly a fun concept.
Part of me is very curious about what was said in that conversation.
I do fear a lot for you, though.
In what way?
Norman called Sean his dog.
What?
That he let him off the leash.
You're not thinking that puts a target on me.
Norman likes to fuck with Kiki.
What better way than... Well, shit. You know, I've gone this long without, popping up on his radar.
Really hope he remains that way.
Yeah. I'd rather not end up, being another name on that list of people. So he's working for Norman then?
I believe so. I've told Kiki.
How'd you take that?
I don't think she really believed it. She really needs to have a talk with Pigeon and his stupid sayings. The thing about betrayal is it always comes from those you trust.
I don't even want to think about the can of worms that would open. If Norman were to say to Sean that he wanted him to go after me, the can of worms that would open on so many fronts.
Sounds exactly like the type of thing Norman would want.
Unfortunately. All the more I can stay off his radar, the better then.
I mean, I haven't seen him since TJ's death, so perhaps he's sated for now.
But that can only last for so long, right? I mean, sooner or later he'll get bored in that lighthouse. Do you think sooner rather than later Kiki is gonna have to make a choice?
I think she'll keep putting it off until it's too late.
I never wanted to put her in that position.
Likewise. But if someone's involved in the murder of one of your siblings, attempted murder of two, only uses you when they need you, and manipulates you to make you feel like good guy. I mean, not
There's
really.
an obvious choice.
Yeah.
Like,
But if it hasn't been made, when would it?
that's part of what my frustration was when I was talking with Mason. Because I'm like, if I was in her shoes, it wouldn't even be a matter of making a choice. While the choices of my siblings have nothing to do with me, the things that happen to them very much so do.
And individually, sure, I get it. Charlotte was doing dumb shit. Got dumb repercussions. I asked for mine. You were, I guess, collateral. Not that that makes it any easier, especially for yourself. Individually, each of the kind of situations could kind of be hand-waved or excused, but in totality,
But when you put them all together, it paints a very clear-cut picture in my mind.
secret of the straw that broke the camel back, which wasn't an individual effort. A million other pieces underneath it. What pushes a man to ask for his own death? Wouldn't just be one occasion, unless it was a major occasion.
Yeah. It does kind of raise questions of there's a reason you asked to be blooded out.
They tell me it was because I wasn't happy. I think it was. I think I finally realized that Kiki wouldn't be safe. That I could no longer stand and say that, sure, I would shoot her if it came to it, while secretly knowing it would never come to it. She told me I asked and offered, as did Sean, for her to join. And she said no thanks, there's no benefit. Literally gained nothing from joining that she didn't already have.
I remember the night she was introduced to Sean.
I do not.
I don't know if there was a time that you had introduced her, but there was definitely a time Finn did. Finn had me and Kiki clock off duty and go to the parking garage behind the boneyard. We were introduced to Sean. Sean pulled her aside for what we were all under the impression was going to be a short conversation, but it went on for like an hour, hour and a half. Meanwhile, me and Finn and Faye are just kind of shooting the shit. That was months ago at this point, but I think that was the first time she met Sean. Then he called me after and apologized, and that he would call me. He never did, by the way. See, he was meant to have a conversation with both of us. Which is all well and good. I think it worked out better for me in the end. Even if they did almost fuck up a good thing for me.
Trying to remember.
I just don't know what to do going forward, Winston.
Trying to remember what that conversation was. I think it may have been about Charlotte. Obviously, Winston doesn't remember. Gentle prods and pushes, but she's not dumb. She knows how we feel.
The question is, what's she gonna do about it?
That's her choice. And then our choice would have to be whether we can continue to stick by.
It's crazy to me that that even has to be a thought either of us have right now.
Oh, I know I won't leave.
I can't see myself ever turning my back on her. But the fact that that is a because inevitably what I see happening is sooner or later Sean is going to turn his back on her. Whatever use he sees or any benefit he sees in his relationship with her,
So much that I don't remember here. As in, like, Winston doesn't remember here. It's like, oh. So you could go on about how, you know, Sean first was attached to Cora, and then it was kind of he struck up a friendship with Winston, and then there was the friendship with what's Lady Hope's character, and then there was Summer's character, Lainey, Alice, Kiki, Susie.
and I'm going to do my best to keep her from having to feel like she's in the middle.
Winston doesn't remember 90% of those. I think she's acutely aware that she's in the middle, and there's nothing really that any of us can do to stop her feeling like that. Especially with the whole clown thing that happened as well.
Yeah, that's the other. Because there are still rumblings that the clowns and ADMC are going to go to war. Like, I heard from Ember yesterday that that was still something that might happen. Not going to pretend that anyone is a good person, especially in a city like this. And I don't envy the position that she's in right now.
I do have to say it's made slightly easier by the fact that communication is infrequent. You know,
Yeah.
easier to not think of something when it only occurs once every couple of weeks.
But then when it does happen, it's going to crash into her like a fucking freight train. The awkward, oh, um, I'm going to go hang out with a friend. It's like, you can just say Sean. It's fine.
Oh,
Sucks, but
she say friend to you too?
most of the time.
Yeah, because I kept calling her out on that. Because I was like, look, you can just say their names. Because you
I
saying
think,
friend is just as unsubtle.
yeah, it's like it. I hated saying it to her, but it was the easiest way to explain it. When shit was going down, of just treat me like I'm Winston. It's the easiest way to explain. Don't bring me to Milton's. Don't bring me anywhere near anyone from ADMC. Just pretend I'm Winston. Because I wasn't gonna give her details about what was happening. Just that there was shit going on. It's dumb, but I do think that's another adjustment that's been going on too.
Ah, no, she always understood that.
Yeah, but it's not something that was typical in her and I's relationship, you know.
Likewise with mine and hers before I joined BBMC.
So I do think there is like a level of adjustment there of getting used to it coming from a different person.
Perhaps. But she's very good at it. She understands it well, and because she understands it, doesn't bother her too much.
She and I still have to. I don't. Well, actually, no. I don't know if we have to talk about it. I don't know if there's any benefit to me talking to her about this again.
I don't think so. I think from what she told me, she understood why you would be angry. She's a balanced individual who likes to listen to both sides and did, although it obviously not super required. It wasn't too hard to figure out what was going on and did it well. She's never been very good at putting her foot down. I remember often talking to her about chief of police, chief of EMS, and struggling to tell people off or punish them.
Boundaries. We also have the other impending elephant in the room that she is beating herself up over.
Hmm.
She told you about the conversation she's gonna have with Misa, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
I feel like she has an uphill battle in the coming days of not feeling so great. Between clear dislike of her relationship with Sean and the conversation she's gonna have with Misa and the very bad episode that she had the other day.
Well, I mean, just do what we always do, right? And support and pick up the pieces.
I just wish there was more we could do before there were pieces that needed picking up.
I can't mother her.
No.
She makes her own decisions and kind of. I don't know. I'm a person who likes to come with a solution to a problem, but I don't really see one. These are her choices, and just kind of have to deal with them.
It really just fucking sucks, Winston.
Yeah.
I just keep going back to when she told me, and I should have given it more time before I said anything.
I mean, why? In the moment, once it's fresh, still. I don't know.
It wouldn't have made it better, but at least I wouldn't have sounded so fucking broken.
I'm a person who relies mostly on logic as much as I can. I don't really do emotions well. He is somebody who does emotions well. So, you speaking to her in the moment when emotional is better than coming at it, PowerPoint presentation 3 days later. See figure 3.1a. To why the bullet entering my head was a bad idea.
From my understanding, I was one of the criticals that was brought in from that whole mess.
One of?
There were several. I don't know who all was critical. I know I was. I think maybe an officer, from what I heard. And I think Lane, too. There were a lot of people shot in that incident, Winston. Like, it wasn't just raiders and ADMC. It was like raiders, ADMC, and cops.
Oh yeah, that's a Bud Light spirit. Fuck yeah. Christians can't say that, but fuck yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. Shoot those cops, you bastards. Yeah. Gun them down. Let's go.
I do appreciate you having this conversation with me.
Of course. Besides the, you know, obviously the fact that I care a lot about Kiki. Kind of have come across as, what was it, sibling adjacent? Was that the term you used?
I think that's the term we came up with, yeah.
Whoa,
Sibling
whoa,
adjacent.
whoa, what do you mean we? I ain't taking
No,
credit. I ain't
Luna.
taking credit, you
No.
know.
Luna had
Luna came up with that?
Yes.
Am I sibling adjacent to
No,
her as well?
no. She's no. She and I were. I think we were trying to figure out how to describe your relation to me. I think that's what we came up with because we were just like talking and it just was like, you know what, sibling adjacent works. I think there was another term too, but I can't remember what it was.
Man, the cut's done so well. I like the snake. I'm tired. I hate waiting and seeing. But I'm not really sure what else we could.
And that's all. That's all we can do is see how things play out.
Just keep each other safe in the meantime.
Yeah. Gonna be curious. How much do they actually hang out in the coming days? Far be it from me to usually care about who she hangs out with, but I'd consider this a special case. Because now I also have the curiosity of what he could possibly be saying to her about his thoughts and opinions, you know? So I'm sure he has them.
I think it was ADMC that notion, don't you guys?
I don't think it was. I think someone actually confirmed that it wasn't ADMC and it wasn't the clowns.
Huh.
Would be fucking wild if it turned out it was ADMC though.
I know that, like, ABMC had a habit of not really going for ocean dumping, so I wondered if that continued. But if perchance Sean had been involved and obviously he had been hurt too. A better way to make sure that she didn't blame him for it.
Now that'd be wild. That's the thing. I don't think he'd ever hesitate to put a bullet in her head if the situation called for it. And that's what kills me about the apparent trust she has in him.
I mean, she said he promised he'd never hurt her. Then by the sounds of it, she asked for you not to be hurt as well, and
That's what she said. And she's like, well, it was, I guess, a specific situation, which I can only assume was during the Charlotte shit.
oh, a specific situation? Okay.
That's what she said. I think. I don't know. It was. I want to be real, Winston. This week has kind of been. I don't remember a lot of this week, if I'm being honest. I haven't exactly been of sound mind this week.
Yeah, that's completely fair.
Don't think these pockets are as sturdy as I thought
Hmm?
they were.
What's wrong?
It's just don't think my pocket was as secure as I thought it was. That's all.
You have a drinking problem as well?
Oh, Winston.
God, yeah.
I've had one. I'm usually a lot better about it, but the past couple weeks has been awful.
If there's anything you've learned from quitting drinking, is that it didn't make it better. Quite the opposite.
Makes it worse. But at least we're not at the levels I was 5 years ago. Kiki once caught me putting alcohol in my coffee at work. But taking steps to not spiral.
I mean, you could take steps to not drink.
I mean that's part of the taking steps to not
Okay.
spiral.
I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, no, it's part of the steps to not spiral. Just take it a little bit. Mason caught me drinking last night. I say caught, but like that implies I was doing something wrong.
I mean, by the sounds of it, you are.
I'm trying.
Sounds like you're denying.
I just don't want to end up back where I was after Harvey died. That's what I'm actually afraid of here. I know I've been bad about the drinking. I haven't been that bad. So there's that.
Call it falling off the wagon, but that implies there's a sudden fall rather than a slow, squeaky slide down a one of those, you know, metal slides you get into the parks as a kid.
Yeah, and then it's like
It's
a
really
million degrees
hot.
on the hot summer
Yeah.
day.
You just get that horrible noise of the it's Tubby makes his way down that. That's more like what the descent is. It's not a sudden drop. So it might not be bad now, but you know, give it 15 minutes and maybe spray the slide with some water and it'll get there. What is this analogy? Why am I like I'm cooked.
So now not only is the slide hot, but it's got water, and the water's also hot because the slide's fucking hot.
Yeah, well, at least you're sliding down it, right? Well, that's the opposite of what we want. But you get what I'm saying. Never mind.
No, I get what you're saying. As long as I don't want to go back to Montana, we're good. It's like it has been a very busy couple of weeks, Winston. Now that I actually think about it.
When I was told it was just a busy 3 or 4 days. Well, now 5
I
days.
mean, for Kiki, maybe.
Oh. And I guess I can't, there's no point in me asking, right? Because you can't really tell me what was going on before that. It's Raiders business.
Bunch of bullshit is what it is.
Thing about not being able to reveal club secrets is, quite often you get stuck not being able to talk to anybody.
I think in some aspects I'm more guarded than others, but a lot of that goes back to Mason and I almost not happening. Our relationship was almost dead in the water before it even began.
Because of club secrets?
Not because of club secrets, but because I made an offhanded comment to someone in ADMC who then took it to their club, who then pressed Mason about it amongst other things, I think. I don't know. Details are fuzzy now. It's been months.
Was that me?
No, it wasn't you. It was someone else. And Mason and I did not talk for probably about a week. There was a call. I think the Raiders were like on a hike or something. And I just remember it was my turn in rotation. I had Benny as a trainee. And I got so pissed off because I didn't want to go. But Benny and I have been waiting like an hour for a call. I said, no, I got it. I'm fine. I'm going. So fucking awkward. But I'd say things turned out pretty okay after that.
Getting through those moments of adversity. I'll build up a big, strong block.
Well, I should probably be letting you get back to bed.
Yeah, I am pretty cooked. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you could tell by the increasingly
Oh, no.
deranged similes and.
No, I could tell. I should let you get back to bed. I do appreciate the talk.
Sorry, it took too long.
Oh, fine, Winston. I knew it was gonna happen at some point in the next week, so I don't mind waiting on a conversation.
Well, don't be a stranger, even if it does occasionally annoy Mason.
Oh my god, you actually called him by his name!
Yeah, sometimes, pays to be serious.
Yeah. I was about to say, who are you and what did you do with Winston Walker?
Good question.
Thank you.
This was a really awkward time for me to choose to put a cigarette in my mouth. I feel so bad. I'm sorry.
Fine.
I know he's gonna kill me for burning a hole in the rug, but it's just, let me just enjoy this one drag, and then there we go. I missed the ashtray.
I won't tell if you don't tell. But appreciate it. Is the door still unlocked?
Yeah.
Alright. Got a bicycle here, mere bike. Because I was actually going to get my other bicycle, so this works out perfectly.
I can give you a lift if you want.
No, I wanted my bicycle because Mason keeps saying if I crash my bike again, he's gonna make me sell it.
What the hell?
No,
Just toss it.
I don't think he's being serious.
I'd hope not.
Because he hasn't made me do it yet. He did say last night when I got on his bike, you're selling the bike, and I said the fuck I am. So, but I'm gonna go get my bicycle from the library, and is she getting water too? Holy fuck, I'm thirsty.
I don't think alcohol counts. No, it doesn't. I shall be around tomorrow though, so.
Alright.
Need anything, let me know, alright?
Will do. Have a good night, Winston.
And you. I thought it was fucking Norman when I saw the black legs. Jesus Christ.